Please be seated. The court is now in session. Today, the chamber hears a testimony of a witness through TCW 1029. Ms. Sakalwati, please report the attendance of the parties and other individuals to today's proceedings. Gracias, Mr. President, for today's proceedings. All parties to this case are present. Mr. Nunji is present in the holding cell downstairs. He has waived his right to be present in the courtroom. The waiver has been delivered to the greffier. The witness who is to testify today, namely to TCW 1029, took an oath yesterday before the Iron Club statue and is ready to be called by the chamber. There is no reserved witness today. Thank you. President, thank you, greffier. The chamber now decides on the request by Nunji. The chamber has received a waiver from Nunji dated 18 August 2016, which states that due to his health, that is headache, back pain, he cannot sit or concentrate for long, and in order to effectively participate in future hearings, he requests to waive his right to be present at the 18 August 2016 hearing. He advises that his counsel advised him about the consequence of this waiver, that in no way it can be construed as a waiver of his rights to be tried fairly or to challenge evidence presented to or admitted by this court at any time during this trial. Having seen the medical report of Nunji by the duty doctor for the accused at the ECCC, dated 18 August 2016, which notes that today Nunji has a chronic back pain when he sits for long, and recommends that the chamber shall grant him his request so that he can follow the proceedings remotely from the holding cell downstairs. Based on the above information and pursuant to Rule 81.5 of the ECCC internal rules, the chamber grants Nunji his request to follow today's proceedings remotely from the holding cell downstairs via an audio-visual means. The chamber instructs the AV unit personnel to link the proceedings to the room downstairs so that Nunji can follow. That applies for the whole day. Court officer, please answer witness through TCW 1029 into the courtroom. President, good morning, witness. What is your name? And please observe the microphone. You should speak only after you see the red light on the tip. Witness, my name is Sui Sao. Question, and when were you born? I was born in 1956. Question, what is your current occupation? Answer, I work in the farm. Question, what are the names of your parents? My father is Sui Heng. What is your wife's name and how many children do you have? And again, Mr. Witness, please observe the microphone. My wife is Chai Oi. We have 6 children. President, thank you, Mr. Sui Sao. The greffier made a report that to your best knowledge, you are not related by blood or by law to any other two accused, that is Noonchee and Keel Sampon, or to any other civil parties admitted in case 002. Is that report accurate? Answer, yes it is. Question, the greffier also made an oral report that you took an oath before the Adencraft statue before your appearance. Is that true? Answer, yes it is, Mr. President. President, thank you. The Chamber would like now to inform you of your rights and obligations as a witness. About your rights. As a witness in the proceedings before the Chamber, you may refuse to respond to any question or to make any comment which may incriminate you. That is your right against self-incrimination. For your obligations as a witness in the proceedings before the Chamber, you must respond to any questions by the bench or relevant parties, except where your response or comment to those questions may incriminate you, as the Chamber has just informed you of your right as a witness. You must tell the truth that you have known, heard, seen, remembered, experienced, or observed directly about an event or occurrence relevant to the questions that the bench or the parties posed to you. And Mr. Sui Sao, have you been interviewed by investigators from the Office of the Co-Investigating Judges? If so, how many times, when and where? Answer, I was interviewed once in my village. President, thank you. And before your appearance today, have you read or reviewed the written record of your previous interview with OCIJ investigators in order to refresh your memory? Answer, yes, I have. Question, and to your best knowledge, can you tell the Chamber whether the written record of your interview that you have read in order to refresh your memory is consistent with what you told the investigators? Answer, yes it is. President, thank you. Pursuant to Rule 91B of the ECCC internal rules, the Chamber hands the floor first to the defense team for Noonchee to put questions to witness Sui Sao. And Nguyen Chi defense, you have one court session to put questions to this witness. You may proceed.
Thank you, Mr. President. Good morning, Your Honors. Good morning, Counsel. Good morning, Mr. Witness. Just to inform you, Mr. President, the defense has 2 sessions. I will be using most of the second session as well, leaving the remainder of the time to the Kyo Sampan team after the prosecution and the civil parties have finished their questioning. Mr. Witness, good morning again. You were interviewed once. Is it correct that you were not in fact interviewed by investigators of this court, but rather by people working for an organization called DC Cam?
I am not sure about that.
All right. Let me ask you questions first about the period before 17 April 1975. Can you tell us when it was that you joined the revolution?
It was since 1972.
And where was it that you joined the revolution? In which part of the country?
It was in Chambok Panya village.
Do you recall which division you joined in 73 or 72? Which military division of the revolutionary forces?
It was in Division 310.
Is it correct that Division 310 was called Division 1 before the liberation? Was it called the First Division?
Yes, that is correct.
Is it correct that you were in Regiment 14 of Division 1?
I was in Regiment 11.
You said, you agreed with me that Division 310 used to be Division 1. Was there also, before the liberation, a Division 2, a second division?
I did not know about that.
Have you ever heard of a division called Division 920?
No, I did not.
Is it correct that Division 1 was part of what is called the North Zone?
Yes, that is correct. It belongs to the North Zone.
Do you recall who was the chief of the North Zone before 1975?
It was Ta Vương.
I'm not sure if I heard the translation right. Did you say Ta Hun or did you say Kun? Or in other words, Koitun?
It was Ta Vương who was commander of Division 1, which was later on changed to Division 310.
And now I understand. You refer to Ta Un being the Division 1/Division 310 commander. Do you also remember who the chief of the North Zone was?
I did not know that person.
I will come back to that a bit later. Do you recall the attack on Phnom Penh in April 75? If yes, were you involved in this?
I participated in the event with the Ta Vương.
And is it correct that you entered Phnom Penh in 1975 with the 1st Division coming from Kampong Tom?
I cannot recall that. I have forgotten about it.
Can you tell the court what you did after the liberation of Phnom Penh in April 75? Where were you stationed? What did you do?
I was stationed at Tul Kok.
Where exactly in Tul Kok?
It was near the railway station.
Did Division 310 have its headquarters in Tul Kok, or was it closer to Wat Phnom, or was it somewhere else?
I was stationed in Tul Kok, and later on I was transferred to an area called Kop Srau.
When were you transferred to that area?
I cannot recall the year.
And what did you do at Kap Srov?
I worked in a rice field.
And how long did you work in the rice fields of Kap Srov?
I worked there for about 1 year.
And where did you go subsequently?
After I left Kop Srau, I was sent to fight against the Vietnamese troops in Kampong Cham.
And after fighting with the Vietnamese troops, what did you do subsequently?
I was then withdrawn to go and live in the village.
Is it correct to say that during the whole period of democratic Kampuchea, you were a soldier?
Yes, that is correct.
At any point in time, did you have any rank within Division 310, or have you always been a soldier or a combatant?
I remained as a combatant.
Mr. Witness, are you able to read and write?
A little.
I would like to request you to have a look at a list with some names, and my question is if you know these names. Mr. President, with your leave, I would like to show a page from a document E3/1585. It's a list of participants during the first General Staff Training, 20 October 1976, English ERN 00897650 and 51, Khmer 00095533 until 34. French is subsequently after page 00611636. So with your leave, Mr. President, I would like to show
Court officer, please deliver the document from the defense counsel to the witness.
I will read the names for you as well, so that you can follow me well. Mr. Witness, the first highlighted name is someone you mentioned already, Comrade Un. He is listed there as the Secretary of Division 310. The number 2 on the list is Comrade Vung. Do you know Comrade Vung?
Yes, I know that person, Vương.
And who was he?
He was the divisional commander.
Number 6 on that list is Comrade Chan. Do you know who he was?
No, I do not know this person.
He was the Secretary of Regiment 11. Does Regiment 11 mean anything to you?
I cannot recall that name. I was pretty young at the time.
No problem, Mr. Witness. Number 16 is the Secretary of Regiment 12, named Comrade Peng. Do you know him?
No, I don't.
Number 26, Secretary of Regiment 13, Comrade Song. Do you remember him or do you know him?
No, I don't.
Number 31, Comrade Yim, Secretary of a battalion.
I do not know him.
Three more. Number 38, Comrade Hoon, Secretary of Regiment 311.
I do not know him.
Number 40, Comrade Mak, Secretary of Battalion 312.
I do not know this person.
And finally, Comrade Tam, Secretary of Battalion 315. Is that someone you know?
I do not know this person.
Are there any other Division 310 commanding officers or combatants that you do remember besides Ta'un and Tavung?
I don't.
Now, let me ask you about two people that you did mention in your statement to DC Chem. Chan Chakrai. Do you recall someone called Chan Chakrai?
I only heard of his name.
And what was it that you heard about him?
At the time I heard of his name, it was during the attack on Phnom Penh.
Which attack on Phnom Penh do you mean? The attack in April 75? Or another attack?
It was since 1976.
I will get back to Chan Chakrai, but one last question before I turn to another person. Was Chan Chakrai part of the forces from the North Zone at one point?
No, he was part of the East Zone. That is from the East.
That is indeed correct, but do you know whether before he went to the East Zone he was part of North Zone forces?
President Witness, please repeat your response. Since when you spoke, the microphone was not yet operational. Witness, I did not know anything about that.
No problem. Someone else you mentioned in your DC Chem statement, someone we all know, Prime Minister Hun Sen. Was he ever part of North Zone forces?
No, I do not know about that.
Just to be complete in this respect, Mr. Witness, we had a witness testifying in this court on the 22nd of June 2015. He was also a Division 310 combatant. His name is Sam Hun. And at 1527, he said, I saw Hun Sen being in the Division 310 in the North Zone. When I saw him, he was attached to Division 310. Is that something that you can react to? Or is it something that doesn't mean anything to you?
I did not know anything about that.
I will get back to him as well. Mr. Witness, a bit earlier I asked you who the former chief of the North Zone was before 75. Does the name Koitun or Kun mean anything to you?
I do not know this individual.
Finally, another person from the non-military side. Does the name Tol, T-O-L, mean anything to you?
I do not know.
All right, Mr. Witness, let's go to an important subject. Do you know? Let me ask it in an open way. You said your commander or the commander of Division 310 was Ta'un. What happened to Ta'un?
He was arrested.
Why was he arrested?
He staged a coup at the time.
What exactly did Ta'un do? What did he do to stage a coup d'etat?
He wanted to topple Pol Pot's regime.
And when was that that Ta'un wanted to topple the regime, started a coup d'etat? Do you remember when that was?
It was from 1976.
Was it at the end of 76, early 77? Could that be possible?
It was in mid-year.
Let me ask it differently. Do you recall when exactly it was that Ta'un and others were arrested?
I cannot recall it.
Does it jog your memory if I say Un and others were arrested sometime in February 1977?
I cannot recall it since I was pretty young at the time.
That is no problem, Mr. Witness. You mentioned staging of a coup d'etat, the toppling of the government. What exactly did Taun have in mind of doing? What were his plans? How was he going to effectuate that coup d'etat? What was going to happen? Can you tell us? Can you tell us?
I cannot tell you, counsel, since I do not know about that.
Well, let me see if I can assist you a bit, Mr. Witness. Do you know whether there was a meeting organized by Taun during which he discussed attacking Phnom Penh, taking control of Phnom Penh?
I cannot recall it since I was at the back.
Do you know whether there were combatants involved or of Division 310 in that coup d'etat, and if yes, how many?
It was around 100.
Did you have a specific task in the preparation of this coup d'etat or this attack on Phnom Penh?
I do not know, but what I know is that there was involvement by the division.
Did you have to do anything with taking trucks full of weapons to meet Un in Phnom Penh for the preparation of the attack?
I was a rank and file soldier and I was told to get ready.
Do you know if there was a special force that was involved in attacking Phnom Penh?
There was the forces from the east.
I will get back to that as well a bit later, Mr. Witness. But was there a special squad from Division 310 involved in the planned attack on Phnom Penh or Pol Pot?
For this particular point, I do not know.
Let me see if I can refresh your memory a bit, Mr. Witness. Your DC Cam statement E3/7535, English ERN 003241168, Khmer 000878817, French 00324-206. Taun planned an attack plot. Unfortunately, when that plot was compromised, we were transferred to farm paddy for a while. Question: can you elaborate Taun's plot? First, he called us for a secret meeting and instructed us that he planned to attack Phnom Penh. He told to deliberate and take control of Phnom Penh. Did Ta'un hold a meeting with his previous forces? Yes, only 100 combatants, including me, were called to attend that meeting. Question: did you join with them? Answer: I took on a truck full of weapons to meet him in Phnom Penh in the preparation to attack Phnom Penh. Unfortunately, the plot was compromised. Question: what was your position in that 100-combatant force? A combatant, but they selected a special squad for attacking. All 100 members? Yes, we were ready for the attack. Question: what was the assault force? Was that the assault force? Assault force as well as prevention force. We received bullets and munitions from foreign countries. End of quote. Mr. Witness, that part from your DC Cam statement that I just read back to you, is that accurate?
Yes, there is.
You're talking about an attack planned, an attack against Phnom Penh. Do you recall whether there were any specific targets that were supposed to be attacked in the framework of this coup d'etat?
It was to topple Khieu Samphan.
Let's leave aside, but my question was not so much about persons, but about specific places in Phnom Penh. Was the idea of Ta'un to attack certain areas or certain things in Phnom Penh?
I do not know. I heard of the order.
Did Ta'un speak about units within Division 310 that were supposed to attack and occupy Pochentong Airport?
I do not know about that either.
Did you hear Ta'un speak about attacking and taking control over Radio Phnom Penh?
No, I did not, since I was simply an ordinary soldier.
So your only task was bringing this truck of weapons to Phnom Penh, is that correct?
Answer: yes.
You also talked in your DC Cam statement E3/7535 on English ERN 003-24171, Khmer 000-87821, and French 003-24210, about storing guns in the warehouse. Do you recall being involved in storing weapons in warehouses, weapons that were to be used for the attack on Phnom Penh and the coup d'etat?
I cannot recall it.
A bit earlier this morning, you confirmed the excerpt from your statement to DCCAM that I just read to you. Also the part on assistance of foreign countries. Earlier you also mentioned Chakrai and the support of East Zone forces. Let me read to you what you said on page 18 of your DCCAM statement, English ERN 003-24172, French 00324210, and Khmer 0008782. You said it was not easy to defeat Pol Pot. If we could not defeat Pol Pot, we would appeal to Vietnam and called for force at the east under Chakrai to help. Ta Un told me this. And a bit earlier in that same DCCAM statement, you said the Vietnamese also came in until the plot was compromised. Is that correct? Did you recall saying this to DCCAM?
President, you may now proceed, Deputy Co-Prosecutor.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to note for the record that counsel left out two very important words in the first answer he read. The witness used the words, "I guessed." Counsel admitted that in reading the statement of the witness.
In my translation, I will read the whole excerpt. Mr. President, it says, question, according to that preparation, do you think that his force could defeat Pol Pot? Answer, it was not that easy, I guessed. Full stop. If we could not defeat Pol Pot, we would appeal to Vietnam and called for force at the east under Chakrai to help. I suppose that I guessed is about it not being easy. So I don't think that guessing has anything to do with Pol Pot defeating and the appeal to Vietnam and Chakrai. But of course I only have the English translation. So with your permission I will move on. Mr. Witness, is that correct? Did you say that? If we could not defeat Pol Pot, we would appeal to Vietnam and called for force at the east under Chakrai to help? Is that something that Ta Un told you?
That is true.
Can you, I realize it's a long time ago, Mr. Witness, but do you recall what it exactly was that he said? Did he tell you and the other 100 combatants how he was going to appeal to Vietnam? What Chan Chakrai was supposed to be doing? Can you recall any details as to what exactly Ta Un said?
I cannot recall it. I forgot it.
on that same page, you're a bit more specific as to the assistance of Vietnam in that coup d'etat attempt and the attack on Phnom Penh. You said, the question is, could these 100 combatants defeat Pol Pot? And then you say, sure, I guessed. First, they planned to attack from inside. When the plot was compromised, they planned to call for help from the Yun. End of quote. Do you remember saying this to DC Camp?
Yes.
And did Ta-un explain how they were going to call to the Yun? What was Ta-un supposed to do in the case that the plot was compromised?
I do not know, since I was a private.
I understand. And what was Chan Chakrai supposed to do? And his forces from the east, what were they supposed to do? Is that something that Ta-un told you and the others during that meeting, that secret meeting?
I do not know either.
Let me see if I can assist you a bit in maybe jogging your memory some more. Mr. Witness, there is a female combatant from Division 310 who also gave testimony to DC Chem. That is, I won't give her name. That is 2 TCW 1030. And in her statement, E3/7540, she says the following, and let me get the year ends. ERN English 00337712, Khmer 000555077, French 003642474. This company chairperson, this female combatant, says the following, and let me quote her. Question: it would have erupted. Yes, it erupted in 76, but I cannot recall the month. I have forgotten the month. In late 76, we were going to erupt, but it was exposed. The 2 North Zone divisions were readied from Wat Phnom northward. The East Zone, in charge to the south, was ready to fight, but it was exposed. And Kuhn, the chairman of the North Zone, was arrested. End of quote. So, Mr. Witness, this female combatant from Division 310 says that the 2 North Zone divisions were readied from Wat Phnom northward. Is that something that you recall Ta-un saying during that secret meeting?
I cannot recall it. I have forgotten all.
And what about the East Zone forces? You yourself mentioned Chakrai and the East Zone forces. Were they supposed to attack Phnom Penh from the south?
Yes, toward the north, toward the south.
So the 2 North Zone divisions, 310 and 450, were supposed to attack Phnom Penh from the north, and the East Zone rebellious forces were supposed to attack from the south. Am I understanding that correctly?
That is correct.
Just coming back again to Prime Minister Hun Sen. As I said, you mentioned him in your own statement at the very end. But there's another Division 310 combatant, company commander, who also talks about him. That is document E3/7583. I will not mention his name either. He is 2 TCW 1033. He said the following, not necessarily talking about the same meeting, but maybe another meeting, and I quote, "It was a treasonous meeting because they were going to stage a rebellion. It was a CIA meeting. At that time, they were planning to attack the Pol Pot garrison, but they failed because Ta Un, who was in the same clique with Hun Sen, was arrested." Now this witness is talking about Hun Sen being in the same quote-unquote clique with Ta Un. Is that something that somehow jogs your memory?
I cannot recall it. I have forgotten it. President, you may now proceed, Deputy Co-Prosecutor.
I simply, if counsel could just provide the ERNs, I don't think we received the ERNs for this.
Certainly, I apologize. It's page 32, English ERN 008-76559, Khmer 00053-869, French 00407-996. Mr. Witness, as I said, there are quite a number of Division 310 combatants who talk about the coup d'etat and the way the coup d'etat was supposed to be executed. Let me read to you testimony from that person that I mentioned earlier, Sam Hun, who testified in this courtroom also a day later, on the 23rd of June 2015. In the morning, he said the following at 9:11, and a bit later as well. Question. Was it also the intention, in conjunction with the attack on Pochenteng Airport and the radio station, to stage a coup d'etat against Democratic Kampuchea? Yes, that is correct. The intention was to occupy the radio station and after that to take over the Pochenteng Airport to stop any further flood in or out of Democratic Kampuchea. Question. I understand, but was it also the intention to overthrow the government of Democratic Kampuchea? In other words, to stage a coup d'etat? Answer. That was the ultimate aim, that is, to conduct a coup d'etat. And now, and that's the important part, and that's a bit further down, it's at 9:13, he says, let me clarify the rebellion plan. There was Ta So Pim in the East Zone and Ta Koitun in the North Zone. They already prepared their forces in the front line and at the rear. The army of the center was prepared for the front line, a plan to attack Phnom Penh. The sector forces were to attack behind at the sector level. This is what I know. End of quote. And to give a little bit more detail, the same witness, when he talks about the radio station, he means the radio station at Stung Min Chai. That is something he said at 9:09. Now, Mr. Witness, you yourself in your DC Camp statement spoke extensively about Sao Pim. Do you know whether Sao Pim was somehow involved in this coup d'etat, rebellion, attack on Phnom Penh, etc., in end of 76, early 77?
I do not know about that particular point.
Let me then ask you what it is that you remember yourself about Sao Pim. Who was Sao Pim? Do you know?
I do not know about that.
Can you, I know it's difficult, Mr. Witness, in an open court to testify about this, but you spoke extensively about Sao Pim in your own statement. Again, do you remember who he was?
I forget about it.
Did you know anything about the uprising in the East Zone under the leadership of Sao Pim?
No, I don't.
Then let me read back your testimony to DC Cam, Mr. Witness. At one point in time you say, I was transferred to a mobile unit which was located south of Churum with Da Sao Pim. And you talk about a hospital, and then you say, yes, the question, then you said you were transferred to stay with Sao Pim, right? Yes, when I was transferred to protect the mobile unit at the back line. Question, to protect the mobile unit? They were afraid the members of mobile unit ran into forest and would be captured by the East forces that had provoked uprising and run into the forest earlier. You said that the Southwest forces provoked uprising, right? Did the East Zone forces also provoke uprising? And you answer yes. How did they provoke uprising? And then you answer, they ran into a forest and started to attack against Pol Pot. Sao Pim led that uprising force. Then the forces from Pol Pot destroyed his forces. Some escaped and hid themselves in the forest. Question, how about Sao Pim? He shot at himself. Question, did you see his corpse? No, but other people saw his corpse was stored in ice and transported in a truck. Does this refresh your memory about Sao Pim?
I recall part of it, but I cannot make a full response to you.
Let me first ask, is this what you said to DC Cam? Is what I read to you from your statement correct? Is it a correct recollection of the events in 78?
Yes, that is correct.
Did you ever see Sao Pim in person? Did you see him with your own eyes?
No, I did not.
Can you recall when it was exactly that Sao Pim's forces clashed with Pol Pot's forces?
I cannot recall that.
How did you find out that Sao Pim had shot himself?
Soldiers talked about it.
Do you remember where you were exactly when you heard the story about Sao Pim having killed himself?
I was at Kandal Churum.
A bit further, again in your DC Camp statement, English ERN 00324-184, Khmer 00087-837, French 00324-226. You said the following: since Sao Pim campaigned an uprising, that's the question, sorry. Since Sao Pim campaigned an uprising, were all people in the East imprisoned, or could they live as usual? Answer: forces did not touch ordinary people. End of quote. Do you recall saying that Pol Pot forces did not touch ordinary people?
Yes, that was the statements that I made.
And how is it that you knew this at the time? What was your what was the source of your knowledge about this?
Because they were soldiers and not civilians.
I will get back to this, but now turning back to my original question, you do now remember Sao Pim, you do remember having been in the East Zone. Is it correct what fellow combatant Sam Hoon has said in this courtroom, that the coup d'etat end 76, early 77 was a combined effort from the East Zone forces and the North Zone forces, and that Sao Pim was involved in this attempted coup d'etat, together with Koi Toon?
Yes, that is correct.
Mr. President, this might be a good time to break.
Thank you, Counsel. The chamber will take a 20-minute break and resume after.